What's up, y'all, and welcome to JCMN Arcade. Today, I'm going to be talking about WWE 2K22. By now, you know the game's coming out, right? Am I breaking the news? I just want to kind of, put my little input on WWE 2K22, what I expect, and hopefully what can be improved on later on in the series. I think I'm gonna hit something like that in this video. One of the things I want to hit on with this game is it looks great. From the trailers, looks phenomenal. One of the things that I kind of noticed, all these screenshots that are coming out, hopefully they are as sharp as what you can produce in the game. That's one thing I can't stand about specifically this WWE games is you can't make what they show. Now, one thing about NBA, you can recreate the trailer if you're a little bit more versed with the replay system. You can recreate it to the T. With WWE, they almost limit you on exactly what you can do. I heard that they did not improve on the highlight reel, so that's a bummer. It's still there, it's just not as good. And I don't think that they stated how the highlight reel is. Some people are speculating that it might be like 2K20, which I can't even talk about because I didn't play that game at all. Or if it's like 2K19, it's a little tolerable, but still wish that you can change it. I would like to suggest a highlight reel that almost records the whole match, and then you can change the cuts of the match. That's what I would hope for the future of this franchise, because at the end of the day, you want to make your own story. I do. You want to kind of live in the world of the wrestling game. I think that's why people like My GM. It's a game mode where you can kind of create your own story, have your own type of gameplay, your unique gameplay. But it's kind of hard to do that when everything is choreographed a certain way, or you're limited to how creative you can be. One of the things that looks good is the arenas. It's cool that they added the Thunderdome as a option. Also, you can get the screens in the Thunderdome. I think the screens are just filled with the devs themselves, which is cool. But I definitely wish I could change them and just, put videos in them or screenshots. I'm not sure if they're just running videos or flashing videos or whatever they are. But I know that can be definitely exploited. So I get the reason why you probably wouldn't. But all in all, most superstars look good. Becky seems a little weird to me. She's just kind of, let me see if I can find her. If you look at her, it's like it looks fine, but it seems just a little off-putting. I'm sure that this can just be tweaked a little bit, but even the trailer here, everything just looks crispy. It looks pretty nice, but it does annoy me that you see all these camera angles and you see all these shots. Fine, it being in the game, but also you can, do this shot where, let's say right here with Drew and Bobby are fighting in the backstage room. I can kind of look like they're, the camera looks like it's a little bit right outside the door. I don't know what needs to happen for that to happen. But that would just be cool to just be able to do that. You can make it look like it's a security camera, or you look like it's one of those cameras that somebody just grabbed a person and was like, hey, come film this real quick because they're fighting in the back. That look, now that would hit different. And then the last thing I'm going to say about the models and how they look, when you have someone like Joe Mashups just doing these phenomenal looking characters, looking people, it just doesn't make sense that the actual game developers don't know how to make them look as realistic as possible or as much detail as possible. Look at this man. No doubt in my mind that that's The Rock right there. That's one model that's one person that seems like the standard of how things are going. When The Rock looks a little off, there's really no hope that everybody else is fine. So what it looks like with the Creation Suite, they definitely have improved on the people that you can make. It's cool to see, like, you can make a guy like this size as a wrestler now. I mean, just seeing the generic face gives me a little bit of hope of like having my character fit in this game world and make me feel like, hey, this guy looks like he is a real wrestler that is made in this game. And that's one thing that bothered me about these recent wrestling games, that I felt like I couldn't really make a character that looked like they blended in. Even down to like the render. Some 2Ks, they will do like how they look in the game as the render of when you're choosing who you want to get. And then next year they'll use like the real version, which makes your guy look like he's out of place. So it's like, if they all would just look like that, then I look like I'm part of the roster. But then also sometimes they'd be like out of place, where it's like I look like I'm shorter than them or I'm bigger. It don't blend in right. But hopefully that's worked on, because I heard that you can add your own render. So I'm not sure how much I'm going to use that, but I would try. I would like to make my character look like he's part of the roster. And then also let's get into the whole NWO thing, where it's the most expensive version you can get, and then you can get old Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and X-Pac, or Six, or whatever. That's cool. I really want Six because that was my favorite wrestler growing up. But it's so weird to me, especially the state that WWE is in right now, is where every time they are messing up and they're falling off the deep end, they go, hey guys, remember this? And then people like me go, yeah, that's cool. That's cool to see the logo pop up. I mean, I love this hoodie. I mean, I will buy anything that's NWO. But I can also look at wrestling as a whole and go, I really wish you can highlight somebody that's current. Build somebody else up that can eventually be nostalgic for everybody else. It seems like every year when they're, like I said, falling off the deep end, hey, remember this? Hey, remember this? It's cool to see Ray on the cover. Would have been nice to see somebody else, but the cover looks great. I don't think you could have made a better cover with a newer guy, but I think it just would be cooler to see somebody else highlighted for the new WWE 2Ks. But it's gonna be cool. I'm probably gonna get this. I played WWE 2K exclusively on PC, so it's great to see that the community creations is multi-platform, cross-platform. What's the term? You can everybody have access to the same community creations. So that's gonna be cool to see. Hopefully the people that mod the games can still mod these character models. It's always refreshing to see people able to like recreate these characters that probably will never be in a WWE game, to a perfect model, to the point that it looks like they were made for this game. And then last but not least, gameplay. I saw the first thing I saw that was kind of like something that they highlight was there was no reversals. And in most cases, I'm kind of simulating my games where I just let CPU play it. Like I don't even really utilize the actual gameplay flow. But it's always cool to be able to use it and such. I'm not saying that I don't care. I'm just thinking about how I normally would approach it. So when I saw the no reversals, I was thinking, why would I care about that? Because I turn it off anyway. Or if I do want to do reversal limits, just to add some flair to the gameplay, so my CPUs have to kind of struggle a little bit in the middle of the match. And then I thought about it. I'm like, well, maybe they're saying there's no reversals because that's not the focus. Because in past 2Ks, that definitely was like the focus. You want to build up your reversals, and that was kind of how the gameplay flowed. Now it's a little bit more of like your strikes and your combos, and that's a cool, fresh approach to the gameplay. And I think that's what wrestling games should be more focused on. I think that's why most people have a fond memory of like No Mercy, because that wasn't the main focus. It was to get your special up. So you did your showboat stuff and, you know, whatever, but that wasn't how you approach the game in that way. But hopefully that's good. I hope gameplay is freaking phenomenal. One thing I noticed that the speed is a little faster in a way. Like the only reason why I would even say that it even gotten fast is one of the moments in one of these little things, Ray is like wailing on Damien here. But Ray is like moving so fast, it makes it look very arcadic, which is fine. I'm not, see, like it looks like a fighting. It's kind of going for like a fighting style game, and that's cool. It's a little off-putting because I don't have anything to kind of base it off of, because it's very realistic looking, but very arcadic motion, which might be fine. One may have to give, maybe they might blend. I'm not sure, but I did notice that, and I'm just kind of curious on how it's going to look with different characters, with different amount of people, because even like the previous 2Ks, they did the same kind of concept where they're not that fast, but everybody kind of does like a snap motion animation, which sometimes gets a little off-putting, and then it creates those glitches. But other than that, it just seems like it should be okay. And then also I see the stunned thing. I hope this is going to create some cool gameplay. Like I like the concept of if you're in the middle of a match and there's somebody that's like stunned, and they can almost get stunned out of nowhere. Like that's the cool thing about the UFC games, is sometimes you'll start a match, boom, they're knocked out, and you're like, I don't know how. There's no real rhyme or reason. You just kind of hit them at the same spot, and it's not always consistent. And I think that's cool when it comes to somebody like me who does very simulated games. I like to see that maybe there's like a random squash match, and you know, I don't know how it happened, or momentum, you know, gets them to strike better or whatever. But there's not a real game mechanic, but it can happen, you know what I'm saying? It's not something you should strive to do, but it's also nice that it does it, type thing, you know? Yeah, like, and one thing I like to see that they definitely have highlighted how weapons and tables and ladders and stuff move, and how less limiting they are this year. I forget what trailer it was, but it was the one with like Alexa Bliss getting thrown into the table. And I know one thing that they mentioned was the tables this year will kind of break differently depending on how it gets hit on or whatever. I say one of the cool things would be that there'll probably be random times where you would throw somebody onto the table, but it doesn't. Oh, there you go. That's the one. That's what I'm talking about right there. So yeah. So it does seem like, you know, there's a response to you getting thrown through the table. The bars here is like bent and this kind of cracked, and you saw it for like a hot second. It definitely like split the direction that she came from. It's fine, but it would be cool if that table would sometimes not break. Just random times they won't break, and so you get that moment of like boom, impact, and then they just kind of like fall off, or maybe just stay on, and then that set up another spot. Just saying, you can have that one, take two. You can have that one. But I would say hopefully WWE 2K22 will hit differently. My speculation is that this game is probably more of a foundation of what is to come. So I think I kind of fully expect that this game might not really hit as well as people would want to. I think that maybe the next one may hit them better. Just kind of based on how NBA 2K21 is right now. Yeah, 2K21 is right now, because 2K21 is fine on the base level. There's definitely a lot of things that they need to fix, but right on the base level, it's somewhere to start. So this game might be somewhere to start, but that next one would actually hit differently. Hopefully this game is great, because I plan on making content with this game, and hopefully it's not as limiting when it comes to the cinematics and camera angles and what have you, but we will see. And y'all stay tuned to check out my channel, JCMN Arcade, to see more of WWE 2K22 content, because it will come. It will. I have too many storylines and things I want to do with this game. Unless it's just horrible. But other than that, I hope y'all enjoyed this all over the place video. And if you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.